Good evening, everybody. It is about 20 degrees here in New York City. Tonight we are going to be talking about Tesla reporting earnings tonight. After the bell, the stock's down about 6%. But overall, it wasn't a bad report. But I think due to the market environment we are in, we're probably going to be seeing a lot of stocks rolling over here. Sarah G, what's going on? Welcome back to the show. I think we had a dead spot. Sally's here. What's up, Sally? Good to see you. We're walking around the one and only Bryant Park. NMB 045 says you're here. Maya says hi, Tom. Hope you're well. Ruby, what's going on? Yeah, I think we hit a dead spot, or I think it's just so cold that my phone is going a little bit crazy here. Alex is in, we're back. But Tesla delivered 936,172 EVs in 2021, up about 87% versus 2020. In Q4 alone, Tesla delivered 308,600 EVs. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Hey, Roy S. says hi, Tom and all. I joined during the dead spot. You know, I'm not sure if it was a dead spot as much as it was that it's just cold out and my phone turned off. But we'll see. I see Sunshine After Rain says we're back. Sarah G, good to see you. Michael says, is this live? It could be. Could be. Very possible, Michael. Sarah G says that's fantastic. Here, we'll get one more look at the Empire State Building. Patrick says, yay, we're back. Gregory Bloom says, good evening all. What's up, Gregory? Good to see you. War Walker, what's up? Good to see you, my pal War Walker from the 305. Federico says, what's your top investment? My top investment? Are you talking about which one investment I made the most money in, or what do you think that I think is going to be the best investment? Photos, hey, Photos from around New York is here. What's up, Photos? So let's walk towards the Grand Central Station, because I think tonight on the stream we're going to need to be ducking in and out of some places so we can warm up a little bit. And plus we get to take a look at the One Vanderbilt building as well as the Chrysler building. We'll do that. Hey, GGMYC says, and we're back. Sarah G says both. So Sarah G, the number one, if we're talking about the number one thing that I made the most money in, it's Atlassian by far. But what do I think is, like, for the average person? Honestly, I think the best investment for the average person is to double down on your career, right? Because the easiest thing you could do to increase your net worth is to increase your income. So if you're working at the investment bank, or you're working at a tech company, or if you're working at a hospital, or whatever it is, if you can get really good at that, get really good at your job, to move up the ranks to get a stable income going, I think that's probably the best bet and where you should focus the majority of your time. Because from there, you could take all of that earnings and place big bets. But you're not going to do that if you try to turn like 10 grand into a couple million. I think it's probably a waste of time. Hey, Judy D says you're back. Frederico says, which investment has made you the most money? Atlassian. And I've owned that particular stock pretty much since IPO. But I just recently sold a whopper. I've just unloaded a ton of positions. Right, we'll go this way. But I had to unload a ton of the position because it broke the 50-day and the 200-day on higher than average volume. Oh, Kevin Sunderland is here. What's up, Kevin? Good to see you, Kevin Sunderland. Peter Wu, what's up? Says love Midtown. The Swan says, Tom, see what happens when you mention the name Swan, everything disappears. It's so true. Well, the Swan, we were talking about buying you the Empire State Building, which I think is probably possible, honestly. You know, if a group of crypto punks could almost buy the Constitution, I think we could probably do it as the channel grows a little bit. Via a DAO. Santo A says that guy is upset about the market. I know. He checked his 401k balance. Wasn't too happy about it. Hey, Falcon Space says action time. Good to see you. OT Drawn says hello. Good to see you. Chris says goodness gracious. Good to see you. Karina Thompson is here. Peter Wu. Hey, Cosmo Scary. What's up, Cosmo? Says what about a dollar cost average? Yeah, you can do that too. Big fan of that. Hey Kevin, thank you so much for the $10 donation. Says why the sell-off after hours in Tesla? Don't get it. Yeah, so Kevin, I think usually when you have a trend change in the market like this, it doesn't really matter what the earnings results are. Everything usually gets sold, right? So I'm not too surprised that Tesla was down after hours, but that's the topic for tonight's stream, is we're gonna break down the earnings report, because I thought it was a pretty good report. I thought it was a solid earnings report, but you know, we have to keep in mind the overall trend. And as of right now, even though we had a little bit of rally days on the street, the trend is still down. The major indices, the NASDAQ, the Dow, and the S&P are all below their 200-day moving averages, and their 50-day moving averages are rolling over. So the trend is down, right? So even though earnings season rolls through and earnings may be good, stocks will still sell off because the overall trend of the market is down. Also, we had the FOMC meeting today. Fed Chair Jerome Powell taking a stance that he is going to be taking inflation a little bit more seriously. They're calling for about 5 rate hikes. I don't see it. I think we're going to see 2 at most. But in terms of pure fundamentals, as we duck in here to Grand Central Station, Tesla reported a good quarter. It was a good quarter, record profits for the company. But unfortunately, in a down market, it doesn't mean anything. The market's going to get sold. So we'll watch for a reversal, but we'll cover it tonight. Whew, that feels good. But Kevin, thank you for the donation. But here's another reason why I think Tesla may have gotten hit today. If we really listen to the conference call, all the big executives at Tesla were saying that all of their factories across the board are running below capacity due to supply chain reasons. So Tesla factories have been running well below capacity for several quarters now, and they see that continuing well into 2022, likely because of supply chain issues. And we've been talking about that a lot on the stream. Not only global supply chain issues, but yes, a semiconductor shortage that all plays into it. So if we listen to the call today, Tesla came out and said, look, we have the demand to make more EVs, but we physically don't have the raw materials to do so. The supply chain is a wreck. So it's encouraging because usually these supply chain issues will be short term, hopefully, but the demand is still there. Deliverables were really good. Monadee says we're back. We are. I think we hit a dead zone, or I think it was just really cold. Sarah G says, what will solve the supply chain crisis? Well, a couple controversial things, but I think the main thing is just, like, the global economy is so large that if you shut down the world for 8 months, it's probably going to take about 2 years for the supply chain to get back to normal, just because everything is so backlogged. Joey says supply chain issues are going to continue through this year. Yeah, I mean, that's what a lot of the CEOs have been saying on these earnings calls. John L says, don't you think that all the other car companies entering the market is going to hurt Tesla's valuation? Well, I don't think so. Well, number one, I mean, Tesla's valuation is just ridiculous. But then again, that's the market and that's the environment we're in. But if you're saying that, if we're talking about something like a Rivian or a Lucid Motors, these car companies don't even have any sales. They haven't delivered one car. So, I mean, if you want to get exposure to the EV market, I think the most responsible way to do it is buy a company that actually has earnings. But then again, if you don't want exposure to the individual stock, I mean, if you just buy the S&P, you know, Tesla's what, almost 4% of the S&P now? Hey, Kevin Sunderland, good to see you. Peter Wu says, maybe a wealth tax plus the hiking of wages. No, absolutely not. Horrible idea, but I respect your opinions. Michael says, greetings, Tom. It's too bad the media doesn't have the positive attitude like you. Appreciate that, Michael Johnson. Well, I think, you know, the media has a vested interest in getting people all upset. Because the more people that are upset and fighting amongst each other in the comment section, the more money they're going to make, the more views and the more clicks.
The 925 train to North Lake Plains.
Obama says Amazon had no earnings for years.
925 train.
That is true. That is true. But now they're extremely profitable. Jason FTO says, hey man, what's up, Jason FTO? Good to see you. Yeah, I mean, Peter Wu, and the reason, I mean, if you just, let's say if you just go to, you know, Michael Bloomberg and say, you know, Michael Bloomberg, we're going to initiate a wealth tax on you, give us $1 billion. You know, a lot of the times when you throw money at problems, it doesn't make it any better, okay? It doesn't make it any better. You know, there's physical people that have to bring all of these goods and products off of these cargo ships. It's backed up because, you know, think about how large the global economy is. And if you literally shut it down for 8 months, you're going to have supply chain shortages, you're going to have disruptions, and it's going to take some time to work itself out. But if you want to put in like a government emergency service where you have all the ports of entries open 24/7, that's probably would be a good idea. Hey, Penelope, good to see you. Edson says, hi, Tom. What's up, my guy? What is up, Edson? Michael. Hey, Sanjeev is here. Says, Cipriani at Grand Central Terminal is great. I go there a lot for semi-formal business meetings. Awesome, Sanjeev. So, Sanjeev, have you ever been to the... I'm blanking on the name here now. Campbell Apartments, the Campbell Bar. It's beautiful in there. So I think they're cranking out the Valentine's Day stuff already. It looks pretty good. These actually look really good. I could probably crush like 2 or 3 of these right now. So this place is called Zaro's Bakery. Very good. Hey, Stockton says, hey, good to see you. Ruby Falcone says, how pretty. 48 says, evening, Tom. Hope you had a great day. I did have a really good day, very productive day. So 48 is joining us from the one and only New Zealand. Beautiful New Zealand. I hope everything is going well with you there. Daryl says, good evening from Chicago, Illinois. It is 8 degrees here in Chicago. Daryl, it feels like it's 8 degrees out here in New York. That's why we're in Grand Central Terminal. It is really cold. Really, really cold. Sarah G, good to see you. So I think some places will not get electricity maybe ever because of the environment. Either it's horrible or unsustainable. to wire. Interesting take. Hey, Matthew's here, says joining from Trinidad. What's up? We actually have a lot of viewers from Trinidad. That's awesome. That's awesome. So Microsoft said the same thing, right? So now that we're talking about supply chain shortages, semiconductor shortages, Microsoft did say the same thing on their earnings report. They did say the same thing. They said that they're facing some semiconductor shortages to go into their Xbox product. Hey, Peter Wu, thank you so much for the $5 donation. Peter Wu says, thanks for engaging with my questions. No problem. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it. I hope you had a good day today, Peter Wu. Lena Sandoval says, hello, Tom and everybody. How are you, Lena Sandoval? Good to see you.
Last call for the 925 train to North White Plains, Melrose first stop, which will depart from track 109, lower.
So I think the Apple Store is still for pickup only. Rock Band 5 Million says, hey Tom, are you sticking around for the storm this weekend? You know, I'm gonna have to take a look at the weather, Rock Band 5 Million, because if it's actually gonna storm a lot like they say they are, I'm probably gonna head back to Miami. But so here's the deal. So just to tell everybody in the chat, I'm probably gonna fly back Friday, but oh my God, Friday's tomorrow. No, it's not. Thursday is tomorrow. Sorry, I'm getting all messed up. So I may fly back Friday, but it really is going to depend on how tomorrow goes. If tomorrow goes well, I'll probably have to fly back on Tuesday. Hey, Matthew says, I am good, bro. Trying to come for a vacation, but it's taking a while to get visa approval these days. Well, Matthew, hopefully you can come to New York pretty soon. We'd love to have you here. The city is still beautiful, despite some of the kinks we're going through. Canyon says, Tom, what airline do you fly to Miami? Usually Delta, but honestly, last time I came here on JetBlue, which was about $49 one way. It wasn't bad, it was good. Austin Tennis says, tomorrow will go well. Your client is ready to sign on the dotted line. Austin Tennis, you're the best. So Austin Tennis is our pal from Canada. He works at PagerDuty, which is a great company. Vinny Castellano says, come on, friends, hit the like button. Appreciate that, Vinny Castellano. Joining us from the one and only Staten Island. MKC Updates says, hello, walks in Wall Street. Is this the famous Grand Central Station? This is the famous Grand Central Station. So I'll show you guys something a little bit corny, but I always point it out every time I'm in here. If you zoom in all the way here, this one little black spot on the top of the roof, I'm trying to point it out, right here. Right there, you get the point. That is, they actually left that one piece of tar on the roof because that is what the roof used to look like, because back in the day, there used to be smoking and all that stuff permitted in the station, and all the smoke and the cigar tar would get elevated to the roof, and they left that one little spot there exposed just so everybody could remember what the ceiling looked like back in the day. Pretty interesting, kind of corny, but I have to point it out anyway. Alex says, Tom, are you buying the dip in stocks? So Alex, for my managed portfolio, for my long-short portfolio that I run, I am not, because I only buy on a follow-through day. But on Monday, when we had a major waterfall sell-off across all the major indices, I did add to my S&P 500 index fund that is in my retirement account. So any time there's a major downturn in the market, my Roth IRA, I could touch that probably when I'm 60. So I'm 26 now. So anytime that there's higher than normal volatility, I'll put some cash to work in a retirement account, but not my actively managed accounts. James Brumley, good to see you. Paul Greenwell, how are you, Paul? Always good to see you. Thank you for joining. Our pal Paul Greenwell, I hope you had a good week so far. As we enter the Lexington Passageway here. Tony Lagus says, hello, my friend from Australia. Manhattan looks beautiful. Thank you. Oscar Diaz is here. Good to see you, Oscar Diaz. Lunch Club says, hiya there, Tom. Did you know that United States has a low supply of ketchup packets? Well, that's good because I can't stand ketchup. So that's actually it's good news for me. But good to see you, Lunch Club. Enzo says, Tom, what time did you have dinner? What did I have for dinner tonight? I went to Panera Bread tonight. When's the last time anybody's ever been to Panera Bread? I went today. It's pretty good. Not bad. James Brumley says, sad to see all the shops are closed. Well, I don't think they're closed for economic reasons. Perhaps they're closed. Well, these obviously are. But I think these are closed just because it's closing time, perhaps. Hey, Russ says, I enjoy watching your YouTubes. Thanks, Russ. Appreciate it. James says Panera Bread like 10 years ago. It was all right, not bad. So everybody, here we are, Lexington Avenue, the one, the only Chrysler building right here. Beautiful, one of my favorite buildings in the city. Cosmo Scary is like, wow, Panera Bread, I didn't know you were that type of guy. NNB 045 says, I was at Panera Bread in San Diego in 2017. Alfred says, Tom, how do you score tickets for flights? I mean, I don't really score them. I just buy them online. If you go to kayak.com, not sponsored, but if you go to kayak.com, you can get flights for very, very affordable prices. Every time I fly from New York City to Miami or Miami to New York City, I very, very seldom do I pay over $70. Very, very seldom do I pay that. Hey, Sarah G, good to see you. Sanjeev says, quick question, does it make sense to favor stocks relative to bonds in context of goal alignment portfolio at this time? Yeah, so Sanjeev, a lot of the times what'll happen, right? So let's say if you're in a traditional retirement account, and let's say if that retirement account is sponsored by your employer, which would mean that, you work for XYZ company and they're going to match, let's say, up to 6% of your contributions. If you actually look into that 401k, it's probably going to say like one of two things. But for the vast majority of people, you're probably going to have a target date fund in the portfolio. So the target date fund may, for me, it may say something really, really far into the future, right? It may say like target date fund 2070 or whatever. But maybe for somebody who's older, it may say target date fund 2030, right? And if you actually take a deep dive into that particular portfolio, all it really does is they mix up the allocation between equities and bonds or fixed income. And as the target date funds get closer to your retirement date, you'll see the equity exposure drop, right? And then you'll see your fixed income assets and bonds actually increase. But, there's been a lot of studies done, Sanjeev, and I think there's a really good book. I think everybody's really read it, but it's called Common Sense Investing by Jack Bogle. And Vanguard actually did a study as we pass the Capitol Grill here. So Vanguard actually did a study that the average investor, or everybody is better off just parking all their money in an index fund that tracks the S&P, because those tend to outperform bond funds over time. But if anybody has a retirement account that is sponsored by their particular company. A lot of the times you could look at it and it'll say target date fund, and the allocation changes based upon your age. So for somebody like me, it's probably going to have maybe 95% equities, but somebody who's 65 and is going to retire, it's probably going to have maybe a mix of around 50-50 or 60-40 or whatever it may be. Okay, so we're on 3rd Avenue and 42nd Street, East 42nd Street. Cosmos says, don't forget to take your vitamin D this time of year. Agreed. Very hard to get sun. Lunch Club says, Tom, with all the plethora of local goodness in the city, you pick a Panera Bread, try a Pet a Manger after 5 p.m. The sandwiches cost are cut in half. Yeah, I mean, my friend wanted to get lunch real quick, and it was right by his office, and we both only had like 5 minutes. So we ran in there real quick. I'll tell you exactly the one it is. We'll walk by it on the stream. It's right next to the New York Public Library. So this is 3rd Avenue. Sarah G's like, I would walk around in shorts. Hey, Anonymous Dude says, good day, all bond funds that... What's up, Anonymous Dude? Sanjeev says, thanks. Hey, DJ says, hello from Newfoundland. Thank you for showing. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it. So this is the Capitol Grill. And we always walk past the Capitol Grill down on Wall Street. Well, not on Wall Street, very close to it. As well as the one over the bridge there in Miami. Laura says, Tom, have you always been into economics? Yeah, a lot of the time. Ever since I was a teenager, I would say. So this is the Chrysler building. We're standing right under it. Very rarely do we get a view of the Chrysler building on the stream from directly under it. Hey, Midnight Blue, good to see you. John L. says, you young people should seek out a mentor they motivate, inspire, and support. They give mentees the tools they need to achieve their goals through challenges. Good piece of advice there, John L. Hey, we have a lot of Russians in the chat. Welcome everybody from Russia. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Peter Wu says, in your opinion, does thinking about economics/finances cause stress on mental health? I would say quite the contrary, actually. I would say contrary to that. I would say for the many cases, if you have your financial house in order, I think it could actually alleviate a lot of those stresses, right? So if you're on a defined budget, I think everybody should treat their personal self like a business, right? What is your P&L? Every month you should have a P&L. What is your profit loss? How much revenue did you take in as an individual? What was your cost? What was your expenditures? And I think if you treat yourself like that, I think you're going to be a lot less stressed, actually. But that's just my opinion. Because if you know everything that's coming in and you know everything that's going out, what's there to be stressed about? If you know the exact amount of money you have for savings, the exact amount of money you have for investing, what do you have to be stressed out about? The exact amount of money you have for partying, hanging out. Hey, SD Rob says you should put the street location on the screen. Maybe we'll actually do that. Maybe we'll do that. But this is 42nd Street outside Grand Central Station, and we are overlooking the One Vanderbilt. Hey, Captain Kurtz has balanced your books. Indeed, I would agree. I really like the facade here. Very cool. Hey, Random Foxy fan says, love that damn skyscraper. I love that skyscraper too. Hey, Shot by Scott says, thank God for my crew in here. You guys are all worthwhile, right? Right back at you, Scott. Check out Shot by Scott, by the way. Great photographer. Also does streams from Wynwood, which is a beautiful art district in Miami, Florida. So now we are passing Pershing Square, and we have some breaking news live here from East 42nd Street, Pershing Square. Hot off the press. Hedge fund manager Bill Ackman discloses that he just recently bought a massive whopper, earth-shaker, groundbreaking, face-ripping position in Netflix. Yes, Netflix. So if anybody wants to read about it exactly, if you go to Twitter and you type in Bill Ackman, which is the CEO and the chief portfolio manager at Pershing Square Capital, you know, Netflix was down 20%. Netflix was down hard, 20%. And Bill Ackman said this is a gift from the market. And I think they added over 5 million shares. Or more, way more than that. What am I talking about? So if you go to, if you just Google Bill Ackman, Netflix, you'll be able to read all about it. And that's a big position. That's a big bet. But if we look throughout history, you know, Bill Ackman has made some amazing calls on Wall Street. Really, really good stuff. So please check it out. Hey, Peter Wu, thank you for joining. And I hope you have a wonderful night. Hey, Sanjeev, says Tom, have you been up to the Vanderbilt building observation deck yet? So Sanjeev, I haven't. I have not, but I really would like to. I really, really would like to. NC says Herbalife. Yeah, so we were talking about that a couple weeks ago on the stream. If anybody remembers, back in the day when Pershing Square came out with the huge short thesis on Herbalife. And hold on, let me cross the street here. And we got to watch a battle royale on CNBC between Bill Ackman, and I always forget this guy's name. I have his face. His face is always sitting right in my brain. But every time we bring it up on the stream, I cannot remember his name. Carl Icahn, there it is. I got it. All right, we're gonna do one brief walk around Grand Central Station just to warm up, and then we'll head out. So, but if you guys want a really good laugh, if you just YouTube the video of Carl Icahn and Bill Ackman going at it over Herbalife. Hilarious stuff. So Sanjeev, this is the bar I was talking about. The Campbell bar. Right here. I'm actually not sure if it's open. But it's here at 15 Vanderbilt Avenue, the Campbell Apartments. Beautiful in here. Ah, photos from around New York. Very interesting. I didn't know he bought the naming rights to that building, or that stadium at Randall's. Yeah, but this place is very good. Somebody says Trump always bragged about Carl Icahn. Is that true? I don't think so. I don't think Trump did many deals with Icon. John L. says Icon cost Ackman billions in the short squeeze. Samantha J. says, Tom, thank you for your dedication in the cold. Thank you, Samantha J., for being here. We'll check out the Mighty Bull. Blade Runner says, is it too late to invest in EV companies? Well, we were talking about one notable EV company tonight on the stream, and that is Tesla. And Tesla delivered 936,172 EVs in 2021. That is up 87% from 2020. But Q4, which they reported Q4 earnings today, in Q4 alone, Tesla delivered 308,600 vehicles. And their profits expanded significantly from last year. So if we want to talk about profit, just profit, Tesla posted a $5.5 billion profit, and this was on $53.8 billion in sales. Do you want to know what they made last year? It's right here. Last year, Tesla made $721 million on $31 billion in sales. So they went from $721 million in sales, or in profit, to $5.5 billion. It's fantastic. So good numbers all around on Tesla. Hey, Pacific Desert Raid is here. Says, wow. Ireba says, this is a beautiful building. I also like the library. I forgot the name of it. Are you talking about the Steven Schwartzman building, Irebus? It could be it. Cross Mitchell says, what is your take on SoFi stock? I do not have a take on it. I do not cover that particular security. Blade Runner says, EVs will become more affordable as prices of lithium batteries continue to go down. Square Bet says, Tesla's gross margins at 30%, huge for a car company. I would agree. Orland Edwards says, hello, Tom and everybody. What's up, Orland? Orland is a school teacher here. The Rundown says, what do you think about Rivian? So I don't think much about them, and I'll tell you why. They could become a great company, but for me, I have very strict investing rules where I do not invest into any company that doesn't have earnings or sales, to which Rivian has neither. So could I miss out on making a bunch of money? Sure, I could. But if you invest based upon those parameters, where you absolutely refuse to invest in companies that do not have any earnings, you will never ever go, at least you will never go completely broke. Because here's what happens in market environments like we have right now. Look up all the companies that have no earnings, and I can guarantee you all those companies are down almost 90%. One of which being Peloton. I'm not sure if anybody remembers, but just a couple months ago, I would say 5 months ago on the stream, do you guys remember how many questions I would get about Peloton? I would get so many questions. Hey, is Peloton a buy? Do you think you should buy Peloton? And I'd be like, look, Peloton can continue to go up, but I don't buy stocks that don't have earnings. Because when the market turns, those are the stocks that get hammered the most. And I think Peloton is down 90%. Yeah, NMB045 says Peloton has become such a nightmare. Yeah, so if you really stick to your guns and you just refuse to invest in anything that doesn't have earnings, you're going to be all right for the most part, generally. But a lot of people get caught up in the hype and they see Peloton going up day after day and they're like, ooh, I want to get in on that. But I'm like, look, this thing has no earnings. It's losing money. It's bleeding cash. Good to see you, Mary Cruz, Captain Kurt. Good to see you. This is a beautiful corridor here. Hey, Ramsey says, hi, Tom. How are you guys in here? What is going on? Photos from around New York says, why would somebody want a Peloton? Who wants to pay for a subscription for a biking TV? Look, I mean, Peloton could be a great product. I really don't know too much about it. But at the end of the day, if it's not earning money, it's going to be really difficult for me to allocate capital to that. Hey, that guy says, Toyota is investing heavily into hydrogen. Very interesting. Could you drop a link to an article about that? I would like to read that for sure. Hey, Adam's here. What's up, Adam? Federico says, you have a very mature investment strategy for your age. Where do you get that mentality? I'm not too sure where I get the mentality. I think it's just you become the sort of content you consume. And the investors that I study the most sort of outline those parameters. So if you think about a William J. O'Neill, a Peter Lynch, Seth Klarman. So I think there's free PDFs online that you guys could look at. But I would really, really recommend everybody in the chat, if you want to read about fundamentals of really how to scrutinize companies, how to read a balance sheet, cash flow statement, everything like that, I would read Seth Klarman's Margin of Safety. And I believe there's some PDFs available online for free, but if you were to buy the book, I think it's like $2,000 because there's only a couple of them made. Hey, Jet Life is here. Says, Tom, what's the ratio or percentage of buildings where people live / campuses and businesses / commercial skyscrapers, and what effect would that have on city and quality of life? Jet Life, it's good to see you, but I'm going to be totally transparent with you. I do not have those statistics readily available off the top of my head, but that I would actually be interested to see what that is. So let me take a screenshot of that question, because I actually think that's a very good question. So let me take a screenshot of this. So the ratio of percentage of buildings where people live / campuses and business / commercial skyscrapers. So, Jet Life, your question actually intrigues me very much, and I'll tell you why. Are you talking about more along the lines of, like, let's say, for example, Google? Has anybody ever been to Google's campus? Or Facebook's, well, now Meta's campus, and then Apple? The employees literally live there. You know, they have everything that they need. They eat there, they sleep there, they go to the gym. It's kind of bizarre, but, you know, I am a little bit, let's just say, a little bit concerned about commercial real estate in Manhattan for the time being. But very good question, Jet Life. Hey, Ben, good to see you. Captain says you're a breath of fresh air for New York walkers, says Captain Kirk. Thank you for joining, Captain Kirk. Fresh says, why are you concerned about commercial real estate in Manhattan? Well, just from my experience. So pretty much everybody in the chat knows that I used to work right in Midtown Manhattan every single day at the Marsh & McLennan building on 45th Street. That used to be my main office. I was there every single day. And I could tell you with certainty that the same amount of people are not in the office as there used to be. Whenever I would go out and get lunch with coworkers, all of the stores were packed. The streets in New York were packed. It's not like that now. You know, everybody is working remotely still. when I talk to a lot of my friends that are in investment banking, they're all working remotely from home. All of them. They tried for a brief 1 or 2 weeks to bring people back to the office, but one of my good buddies who works at Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, they said after Christmas, they sent everybody out an email, said, you know what, go back to working remote. So if you think about, why would any startup in this environment want to sign on to an 18-month or 36-month lease? They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. I think what they would do is sign up for like a co-working type environment, like a WeWork or a ServCorp or something like that, where their employees could come in maybe once a week. But nobody's going to sign a multi-year lease. Nobody's going to sign a multi-year lease if the employees only come to the office 1 or 2 days a week. But look, I could be totally wrong. I totally am open to the idea that I could be completely wrong. But from my experience working in a major skyscraper here in New York City, there's like nobody that comes to the office. Marilyn says, I noticed Chase Bank has closed many branches. Ooh, that's not good. Yeah, Canyon says some leases are 5 to 10 years. So, I mean, if I had to formulate some sort of a bullish thesis on commercial real estate, I think that a lot of these short-term rental companies like WeWorks are probably going to acquire more space. And from there, what they're probably going to do is just rent it out to companies on an as-needed basis. At least that's what I think. Because if people are only going to the office 1 or 2 days a week, if a company could save money and just say, hey, these are the days we're going to the office, we'll rent out the space for that particular day. But who knows? Hey, EBITDA's in the chat. What's up, EBITDA? Good to see you. We're just talking about Tesla's earnings tonight. Fresh says, oh, I see. I think most companies are going to adopt the Google policy, either come back to the office when it's free or else give a chunk of your paycheck up. Yeah, so Fresh, I think you make a good point, but I think Amazon and Twitter said, hey, look, you could work indefinitely. And another company, which is right here, Salesforce.com, Mark Benioff said, look, if you guys don't want to come to the office, you don't have to. And this guy has a whole building right here. Dynasty Flow says, yeah, a lot of WeWorks I delivered to them. I was at a WeWork, so to give you guys some insight, I actually signed up for a WeWork, because I'm looking to get office space if I'm going to hire people. But I'm like, why don't I get a pass to WeWork? And that will allow me to enter any WeWork's office in the entire United States for $600 a month. So I could work in a WeWork in San Francisco, in New York, in Miami, and I pay $600. And I could work anywhere. I think it's fantastic. Fred T says, many financial companies have told their employees if they work remote, they won't make as much as in the office. Fred T, where's your source on that? Because a lot of my friends work on Wall Street right here in Manhattan, and they are making more money than they've ever made before working remote. Their bonuses were actually about 40% more than they were last year, and they're all sitting in their apartments. NMB 045 says, Kevin O'Leary said the same thing. He's fine with remote work. It's definitely going to be interesting to see how this plays out, for sure. Hey, Tanya S is here. Says, hey, Tom and everybody. Hope all is well tonight. What's up, Tanya? Good to see you. Obama's here. Jet Life, thank you. Ooh, the wind is brutal tonight. So this is the Steven Schwartzman building. Hey, Chris, do you think that it's a way to cut costs and pay the employee in utilities and internet, etc.? Perhaps. I think that's a good point. Brian says, do you think WeWork will hike up their commercial rental prices? So Brian, to give you an idea, I actually was able to negotiate a lower price because nobody's really going back to the offices. I'm just speculating. I don't know how many customers WeWork has as of now, but if I was, let's say if I was running a company and I had 100 employees, right? And I think, 100 employees is still probably startup phase. I would not sign an 18-month lease. I'd say, let's get a WeWork pass and let's meet whenever we need to. Canyon says, cubicles are irritating to work in. Offices are noisy if you don't have your own office. That is true. Fresh Start says 2 out of 1 employees are expected to be back in corporate office on a partial basis for most companies. Yeah, but so the thing is, Fresh, everybody's been saying that, but it's sort of like the way I view the Federal Reserve. I'm going to pay attention to what the Federal Reserve is actually doing, not what they're saying. And every major tech company, every major investment bank is like, everybody's going back to the office. Everybody's going back to work. But the moment they bring everybody back to work, they ricochet everybody right back home. I mean, myself included. I'm not working from an office. Hey, Bottomless Coffee says, I'm in the legal profession. A lot of firms are still remote. That's really interesting, Bottomless Coffee, because you would think that law offices would be in the office all the time. EBITDA says, Tom, Bank of America has kept a lot of employees remote as well. I have been going in for about 3 days a week for the most part. I have been remote all month though. Wow. Yeah, and I mean, everybody, EBITDA, if you don't know, EBITDA works for Bank of America. He's an investment banker, so it's just so bizarre to me how that these firms are still remote. But I mean, I guess they are, which is interesting. Hey, Carolina Tom, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Hope you had a good day today, Carolina Tom. Anonymous dude, what is up? Lisa says, Tom, it's 72 degrees in Miami. Ooh, that's making me want to go back. But I mean, don't get me wrong. I really, really miss the days of going into the office where, on a weekday, Manhattan is rocking. I mean, it's like electric. There's so many people getting coffee on their lunch breaks, eating in Bryant Park. It's slowly getting back to that, but nothing in comparison to what it was. Hey, Frazier says hello. What's up, Frazier? Says hello. I am curious if Hertz stock position will improve with the large Tesla purchase. Enjoy the stream. Thank you. So in my view, I would never, ever, ever buy Hertz, ever. And the reason for that is sort of like what I was explaining yesterday. Think about all the merchandise on the market right now, right? If I could buy a Microsoft that's generating a ridiculous amount of free cash that beats expectations and raises expectations every single quarter, if I could buy a ServiceNow, which reported a great report, why would I buy a Hertz rent-a-car? There's really no X factor there. Like, how much free cash could Hertz possibly earn? How much, what is the corporate profit expansion going to be over the next 5 years for Hertz? Right? I mean, Hertz may be a good company, but it's just a rental car company. So there's no real innovation there. There's no new product that's exciting, right? If I have exposure to like a Microsoft or an Alphabet, those companies are investing in research and development into really the cutting edge technologies of the future. Hertz is not. Hertz is just buying some Teslas. So I'm not going to invest my money in Hertz because they bought a couple 100,000 Teslas. So that's just my opinion. And again, these are just my opinions, but that's sort of the way I think about it. Do I want to get how much is my money going to grow over time being invested into Hertz as opposed to like a Meta or an Alphabet or a Microsoft that are going to be developing the products of the new world and generating a ridiculous amount of free cash. Yeah, John L says right now the oil industry is outperforming everything. And that is really indicative to the market we're in. So usually when markets are under pressure, if you see everything that's rallying as the oil stocks, a lot of the real estate investment trusts, that's when you know you're in a bad market and a lot of your new buys are not going to work. So that is a good point you make there, John L. Hey, Trey Bucks, thank you so much for the $2 donation. I appreciate you very much. Says, do you miss Miami? I think I'm missing Miami a little bit tonight, mainly because it's freezing out. But thank you, Trey Bucks, for the donation. I do appreciate you very much. Hey, Missy says, good evening, everybody in the chat. Hey, what's up, Missy? Good to see you. So here we have Joe and the Juice. Hey, Devon Avery is here. Says, good evening, everybody. Kevin Lee says, good evening. It's 10 p.m. in Atlantic Avenue. The Denver Nuggets versus the Brooklyn Nets. What's up, Kevin? Always good to see you. Shot by Scott, thank you for joining. Appreciate it. Frederico says, you should walk to the Met Museum. Ah, the Met Museum is beautiful. Maybe we'll do that another night. Pacific Desert says, Tom, in terms of EV market, how can Tesla, how Tesla is pushing competition forward? What are your thoughts on Mercedes, BMW? Yeah, look, usually, you know, there's a saying where, you know, and this happened with Amazon. Right, so I'll give you some sort of an analogy to your question. And I wish I had the Jeff Bezos interview that I'm going to refer to. But when Jeff was asked about Amazon AWS, he's like, very rarely do businesses have a 5-year head start. And he's like, with us, with Amazon AWS, we had about a 5-year head start on everybody. And then you started seeing Microsoft's Azure platform come into play. You started to see Google's Google Cloud Unit come into play. It is so windy and cold out, it's crazy. So I think, to answer your question, I think that with Tesla innovating, it's going to force all of those other companies to innovate as well. If that makes sense. All right, we got to duck behind here for a second. So I think overall it is a good thing. I think it's going to force innovation. Hey, Tommy C says, hey, Tom, when I cross paths with you in Florida, you got a cash super chat. What is up, Tommy? Good to see you. Thank you so much for watching. The one and only Roderick says, New York in February, what's that like? Going next month for the first time. Well, bring your winter hat and gloves because it is freezing. Carrie F says, out of curiosity, how much does YouTube take from a super chat? Says Carrie F. Honestly, I'm not sure about that. I really don't know. But I'm sure they take a percentage of the revenue. Cosmos is 30%. Yeah, Pacific Desert says competition is always good for the consumer. Devon Avery says, what's the discussion for tonight? Well, we were talking about Tesla because Tesla reported earnings. They reported a great quarter, but the stock is down, I think, about 6% after hours. but they had just shy of 1 million cars deliverable. Over 900,000 cars delivered last year. Very good quarter. So we are walking down 42nd Street. We are here. Very good steakhouse, this one right here. Square Bet says, Tom, what did Elon Musk say on the call? Well, one of the things Elon and his team pointed out on the call was that almost every single Tesla factory worldwide is running well below production capacity. And the main reason for that is the supply chain issue. They said, look, the demand for our cars is so high. They said that they probably could have delivered more cars if it wasn't for supply chain disruptions. And I think that's similar to a lot of other companies, what they're saying on the street on their earnings reports. The supply chain has been a mess for companies all across the country and globally. Anonymous dude, what's up? Hey, XOXX Bob is here. What's up, Bob? Hey, Coolaunt516 is here. Unlimited Stimulus is, what are your thoughts on Palantir? So Palantir is another one of those stocks that about 5 months ago I was getting absolutely hammered with questions. And I said, guys, I understand Palantir is an amazing company, but it doesn't have any earnings, so I can't buy it. And now I think the stock is down 90%. But Palantir will turn a profit. They will be profitable at some point, and when that time comes, I will probably buy the stock. But that time is not now, just in my view. But Palantir is a great company, but they're just not profitable. Hey, Razzle Dazzle says, Tom, sounds like you need a baklava winter mask for that brutal wind. I know. The wind is crazy tonight, and we don't have the mic. But we are outside of the NASDAQ right here. RJ says we are still awaiting product and still 100 containers sitting outside the ports of LA. Wow. Mustache Milk says, hello everybody, what's going on? Square Bet says, Tom, I went to the grocery store yesterday and the shelves were half empty. Well, I mean, I believe you, because it's the supply chain is really messed up. But although it's been pretty good here in New York and in Miami as well. That guy says, I think in the late 80s, Miami went down to the 30s. Ramsey says, Tom, what's the best bank in the United States I can open a savings account with? A good benefits monthly or yearly besides my money is safe. So Ramsey, I would never advise, well, I can't advise on anything, but in my opinion, if we're just talking as pals, I would never leave any of my money just sitting aimlessly or idly in a bank. Mainly because after inflation, you're getting a negative return. I would try to find some sort of investment vehicle where you're probably going to get some sort of yield on your cash. But if you're looking for just some place to put your money that's going to be safe, I would say any bank in America, you know, knock on wood, I think your money is probably going to be safe. Probably not going to get stolen. Hey, Yasin says, let's see sky, please. Can't wait to see how many stars are out. Unfortunately, no stars tonight due to all the light pollution. You can thank Cosmos Scary for that one. Sarah G says, FDIC insured. Chris Hansen says CD's 4.5%. Penelope says shelves in grocery stores in Tennessee half empty as well. That's really interesting. For anybody confused about their careers, now is the time to go into 3PL with the supply chain mess. Lots of opportunities. NNB 045, I agree. Very good piece of advice there. Obama says I-bond 7%. Yeah, but there's one thing to watch out about for bonds. You know, just remember that inverse correlation is yields go up, bond prices go down. So just keep that in mind. Hey Juan says, hey Tom, have you ever had a killer day in the market in your day cash account and took the day's profits to purchase yourself something special such as a watch? I have not, because mainly I don't really invest like that. I don't really do like intraday day trading, but there has been times where I've taken profits from a particular stock purchase and bought something massive, which was my house. And I think we were talking about that earlier, but this is over years. It's not like I put money in the market one day. I bought Atlassian when it IPO'd, literally. And that was like, I think almost 5 years now. I don't do any intraday sort of day trading. It doesn't make sense to me. And I don't wear watches. I don't even have a watch. One of my friends bought me a watch because I have to go to his wedding. And he's like, Tom, you gotta wear a watch. And I'm like, I don't have a watch. So he bought me a watch to wear to the wedding. And I promise I will wear the watch. But I have to get the watch custom fitted to my wrist because my wrist is so skinny. Lee says, watch out for bank bail-ins. The bank uses the money of its unsecured creditors, including depositors and bondholders, to restructure their capital so it can stay afloat, says Lee. Lee, hope you're well in Miami. It's freezing out here tonight in New York, so hope you're doing good in Miami. Yes, somebody says just don't put your money in Lehman Brothers. Deanne says banks pay nearly nothing in interest. Hey, Cloudmaker says you're the only star out tonight. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Cloudmaker. And please says hello from Sunderland, UK. Welcome. Andrew Devon says, Tom, in some ways you are a minimalist. So Devon Avery, I think you're right, but I think the way I would classify myself is I just don't like to be able to have to worry about too many things. That's my number one, like, biggest pet peeve in my life. Whenever I have to worry about something, I get so freaked out. So the less amount of things that I have, the less that I have to worry about. And I think that's one of the reasons why I don't have a car, because if I have a car and it gets hit, I'm stressed out about, oh, the car's hit, I gotta get it, I gotta take it to the shop, I gotta, you know, Twitch stream now, everybody. Twitch stream. I gotta take it to the shop, I gotta do a bunch of that stuff, so I think it's just easier for me to take the bus. Andrew says, buy a good index fund, agreed with that. So now we are looking towards the Morgan Stanley building in Times Square. Hey, RMA's 9464 says, always looking forward to your lives. Realty by Lance is just checking in, Tom. What is the topic? So we were talking about Tesla's earnings tonight. Tesla actually reported a really good quarter, but is down after hours. Hold on one second. It's so cold. It's so cold I can't even take the thing off. Okay, now we're good. Hey, Carol H says, I used to work at that Morgan Stanley location. Very cool. What's up, Carol? Good to see you. Zachary Woods says, what are some places to see, to do in New York City for families as a toddler's age? What I would say is, you know, come here during the summer. Come here during the summer and just spend the day in Riverside or Riverside Park. I think you would really, really enjoy it. Somebody says, is there any snow in the forecast? Well, supposedly there's going to be a lot of snow in the forecast for this weekend. Wow, I'm holding the phone in my hand and it's like I'm holding an ice block. Hey, greetings from Chile. Welcome everybody. Chile. Somebody says Cosmos' latest forecast 2 inches. Mustache is looking forward to the live stream in the snow. Sunshine After Rain says, why did you take it off the gimbal? So when the gimbal dies, it doesn't hold the phone. So we will head back down to the Moynihan train station, where I have to get the train anyway. Could we get a quick time check in the chat?
Again, that's ABC.
I just want to make sure. Helen says, how long are you going to stay in New York? Sorry for the question. It depends. It's either I'm leaving Friday, but if all goes well tomorrow, I may have to stay a little bit longer to next week. So we'll see. It's funny, now that I am streaming from both New York and Miami, every time I'm in Miami, my email box is lit up with, when are you coming back to New York? When are you coming back to New York? And then once I land in New York, my email box is lit up with, oh, you're in New York, you got to come back to Miami. I want you to stream in Miami. It's funny. But trust me, we will be back and forth. The time will be about 50-50. I promise. Yeah, but like today, I was going through some of my emails and everybody was like, when are you coming back to Miami? I love your Miami streams. I love checking out all the yachts on the streams, which I do too. But we'll have plenty of time to check out both, I promise. I will be back in Miami very soon. Don't worry. Cosmo's like, Tom, when are you coming back to Las Vegas? Soon enough, Cosmo. Soon enough. Hey, Jonathan Richards, good to see you. Oh, so everybody, the Behind the Street newsletter has been delayed this week. I do apologize. It's been a little bit more hectic than normal. But I promise it is going to go out first thing in the morning. That I do a solid 100% promise. I finished the last 2 paragraphs today after work. Now I just have to make sure there's no spelling errors because I'm terrible at spelling. My spelling and grammar is so horrendous. But it will go out now. So if you want to sign up for the free Behind the Street newsletter, if you type !news in the chat, NEWS, the Nightbot will drop the link where you could sign up for free and you will get it. Hey, Helen says, thanks for answering me. Thank you for being here, Helen. Appreciate you very much. Hope you had a great day today. So now we are passing 41st and Broadway, headed downtown. Jones says, did you see the Pele store in Times Square? I think we did tonight. I'm not sure. I think I'm very good at getting my thoughts down on the paper, but the way they come out, I think, is a little bit of a mess. Let's see. But if you guys are new here, feel free to subscribe to the channel and leave a like on the video if you enjoyed the stream. We took a deep dive into Tesla's earnings today. We talked about their profitability. Their profit expanded significantly year over year. And Tesla delivered well over 900,000 EVs, which is a great report. Sorry, I'm trying to hold my gimbal in one hand. But the full year of 2021, Tesla reported $5.5 billion of profit. And that's on $53 billion of revenue. And just to give you a little bit of a comparison, last year, or excuse me, in 2020, Tesla made $721 million on $31 billion worth of profit. So they almost doubled their revenue and well over doubled their profit. So the profit went from $721 million to $5.5 billion. Fantastic results for the year from Tesla. But the stock is down. Hey, Penelope says, Tom, the newsletter always read just the way you talk, very genuine. Yeah, Penelope, that's how I try to write it. I try to write how I speak on the stream. And I'm in the process of converting all the newsletters to audio format, because sometimes people don't have the time to read it. So I want to give everybody the ability to be able to listen to it. Hey, Rob says, wind chill advisory for Northern Ohio. Yikes. Well, stay warm, Rob. I'm trying to stay warm myself here. Penelope, thank you. Penelope is joining us from the one and only Tennessee. Good to see you, Penelope. Jonathan says, Tom, the newsletter on audio would be fantastic. So that is in the works. You. I appreciate you very much. Hey, we have Mount Up 716 in the chat. What is up, Mount Up 716? Photos from around New York says, can you post the audio version to the stream? I will. So once I have them all done, I will post the audio version to the stream. I promise. John L says there's a free program called that translates written work to audio. Yeah, but I think I want to make it my voice. So I think I want to just sit down, read all the newsletters. I think that's what I want to do. Vice versa, good to see you. Natasha, good to see you, Natasha. Hey, Christian says, hey Tom, if you could only stay in Miami and New York City, which would you choose and why? Ooh. That's a very hard one. I don't think I could just pick just one. That's really tough. But if I absolutely had to, like it was like life or death. Life or death, I had to pick one. Probably New York. But I would be very unhappy in the winter because I do not like the cold. I think that's why being in Miami is the best of both worlds, because you know, I could spend the vast majority of my time in southern Florida from, let's say, December until about May. And then I could spend the vast majority of the time in New York during the spring and in the summer. But I really love both cities. It would really, if somebody said, look, you couldn't go back to Miami ever again, I would be really upset. Vice versa says you're not Tom from MySpace. I think MySpace is a little bit before my time. Well, let's see. Cosmo Scary, did you have a MySpace growing up? I didn't. I think that's a little bit before our time. Yeah, Charlie Richardson says some of the text-to-speech sounds a little bit robotic. Hey, War Walker, thank you so much for the $20 donation. My good friend, my good pal from the 305, War Walker. Thank you so much. Says lunch on me, Tomcat, for all your effort for braving the wind and the cold for us. Well, thank you, War Walker, for the support. I do appreciate it very, very much. You're too kind to me. You're way too kind. Lady O says, I had a MySpace that is even still operational. No way. What does it look like? What is like a MySpace page today look like? You know what I'm gonna do, everybody, just for a kick? Once I get on the train at the Long Island Railroad, I'm gonna create a Walks in Wall Street MySpace page, and I'm gonna link it in the description. That's gonna be a kick. I'm gonna do that. I've never had a MySpace before. So I'm going to create a Walks in Wall Street MySpace page. And who knows, maybe we'll be on like a new trend where everybody starts to sign up for MySpace now. Hey, Francisca says hi. What time is it there? I think it's probably around 10 o'clock, right? Anonymous dude. Ken Glass says MySpace was cool. Cosmos says make a Vine. That is funny. I mean, who knows? Maybe MySpace will be one of those things that circle back around. You know how fashion trends always circle back around? You know, maybe MySpace will be the new thing, and then we will be the first MySpace page to be active before everybody else. You never know. Who knows? I think we'll do it just for fun. Whatever. We'll do it. Hey, Paul's here. What's up, Paul? Good to see you. Andy is joining us from Korea. How is everything in Korea, Andy? So we are overlooking the Empire State Building. Beautiful view tonight of the Empire. Andrew says there was talks about musicals buying it a couple years ago. Good to see you, Andrew. Hope you're well. So just my phone may die. So if the phone does die, I appreciate everybody joining tonight. Please stay warm. Have an amazing day tomorrow, Thursday. Already almost the end of the week. Time does fly. So I'm wishing everybody much success in the chat to finish strong at the end of the week. Jonathan Richards says MySpace will never circle back. Funny. Yeah, it probably won't. Hey, Vinny Castellano says, enjoy your evening, Tom. Good night. Thank you, Vinny. Carol says, no, we'll be back tomorrow. Mount Up 716 is South Buffalo. Go Bills. Tanya S, thank you. Andy says, it's good in Korea. Thanks for asking. Much appreciated. No problem, Andy. I do not have a Classmates account, Sunshine After Rain. What about you? Lady O says, Tom, have a good night. Please go get warm. Thank you, Lady O. Vice versa says, God bless Tom. God bless you. Hey, Blue Liner is here. What's up, Blue Liner? It's South Buffalo. Me too. Right near Imperial. What's up, man? We met Blue Liner last night on the stream. Thank you for watching, Blue Liner. It's freezing here tonight. Really crazy here tonight. Hey, welcome everybody from India. Good to see you. Kim Grant says, good night, Tom. Good night, Kim. The one and only Swan, have a good night. All right, we will end it here because I do need my phone to get on the train. So have a good night, everybody. Ruby Falcone, Marty Lewis, Mount Up, NMB 045, everybody, all the moderators, Sunshine After Rain. Thank you all for joining. Be safe, stay warm, and to the mighty bull, have a good night wherever you are, because there's always a bull market somewhere. You just need to know where to look, and I will see everybody right back here on the stream tomorrow. Have a good night, everybody.